Welcome adventurers. So for those who don't know, we're a channel based on narratively told battle reports, hobby hangouts, and community lore videos. Now, with that said, do you want to help to defeat those YouTube algorithm gods? Want to know how? Yeah! Simply like and comment. But what do I comment? And my question to you is, do you actively create stories for your characters? Or isn't this something that interests you? And for those who are interested, we have created a whole pocket realm where you can look to place your characters, your settlements, or basically everything that you can think of relating to your hobby lore within our pocket realm. And by doing so, you do actually have a chance of it coming to life within our community lore videos. To find out more, please click the link down below. That is the Great Weave link. You can always reach out to us via our socials. Lastly, before we start this video, I just want to say thank you to you all for all your continued support, and a massive thanks to those folks who have been active members in our community: Alejandro, Pete, Paul, Kitten, Negama, Nuno, Keegan, Dave, and Adam, to name a few. And now, we hope you enjoy it. Duskwood Tomb, Chapter 2.
The Duskwoods are eerily quiet. Even the slow slither of snakes is a welcome disturbance to the drowning silence that choke the area. Trees reach high into the sky, blotting out any direct sunlight, and only allowing the passage of scattered lights to cascade down. A great mist clings to the forest floor, so much so that even travelers often have troubles finding their own feet. But this strange mist not only disguises movement, but also makes it seem like movements are smoother and faster, making people move as if at a quickened pace. The Lineae clan find this as a welcome boon, allowing them to traverse vast expanses in a short period of time. They feel almost at home here, moving swiftly through shadowed lands, but they knew that they were unwelcome guests here, and their presence was already noted. Shadow creatures lurked in the darkness, stealing away some of the weaker stragglers as they were unable to keep up with the group. Tatsumaki winces as each one is carried away in a fit of pained screams. Their last encounter with the ogres saw 2 more Tories dead and both Komio and Hiku severely injured. Their brave efforts paid off in the end, but the cost of achieving her destiny seemed to be taking a toll on her clan. Her familiar flew high above the darkened canopy of the Duskwoods, watching for portents to point out where her destiny might take them next. She had received visions that a cache of artifacts laid hidden here in these woods, and it is likely that the next piece of her destiny is contained within. They had not encountered any enemies thus far aside from the suffocating darkness and formless shadow monsters, but she was ready for a threat to reveal itself. A sudden beacon of light blares through the forest, sweeping across with a piercing force. The Lineae clans stop in their tracks, staying low and hidden within the forest gloom. From the source of the light, a small group of Stormcast can be seen, standing in front of a small tomb. Lord Castellan Haldus Solomon opens the hood of his lantern, letting the powerful purifying lights of Azir to stretch out over the woods. His followers seek out with their eyes across the vast woods, looking for the threat they came here to push back. Powerful wards had been put in place here to warn about intruders and safeguard the treasures hidden away here. For the past few days, the wards have been slowly triggered, gradually getting closer to the tomb, to the point where Haldus was forced to action. The portents that had opened up in the skies as of late foretold of invaders and darker omens in the future. Like dark wings, these heavenly warnings were spreading even farther, and the thought was unsettling. Quay chirped as he padded near his master's feet, sniffing the air for any unusual scents. Haldus's loyal Gryph-hound is adept at finding hidden prey, even in the darkest of environments, and its swift movements catch even the most agile of foes by surprise. It catches a sniff of blood-crusted steel, wafting through the woods, and gives a shrill cry to warn his master. Patreus drifts nearby, twirling a hammer idly in his hands, eager to face an enemy. The wings of the prosecutor give dim illumination to the surrounding, but not enough to pierce the darkness.
Does your pet sense something?
He asks with a slight disdain for the creature below him. He did not share the same fondness of griffhounds that many of his brethren did. Likewise, Quay, the griffhound, looked up at him and only sniffs before turning away his head.
He does indeed, but this fog hides them well.
Haldus grumbles in reply, shifting his lantern to and fro, and hoping for something to be shown.
He smells blood in the air. Foul chaos followers are close by.
You could gather that much from just the noise it makes?
Zadion asks while freeing his warhammer from his belt, his voice jovial and expressive. From his hammer hung a small dwarven charm carved in the shape of a two-tailed comet. Something he found brought him luck through his journeys. The Liberator put a hand to the griffhound's head, giving it a gentle but satisfying rub.
We should appreciate that he's with us, Patreus. This good boy has already done more work than you have.
He gives a smirk beneath his stoic mask. Annoying Patreus was as fun as it was easy, a simple way to pass the time on these short excursions.
Enough.
A deep voice boomed from the shadows, an echo of thunder following his words. Balian Stoneheart was a man of few words, but when he did speak, his words carried weight, similar to his Retributor hammer.
If there are enemies near, we should prepare.
My thoughts exactly.
Patreus acknowledges, snubbing his Liberator comrade. He claps his hammers together as they spark and crackle with pent-up energies.
My lord, light the way for us.
Haldus whispers a short prayer before slamming his storm halberd to the ground. His lantern bursts open with a brilliant flash that cuts through the darkness and fog, lighting up the forest in all directions and bringing sight to where there was none before. The Linnaeide clan are briefly lit up for all to see, and their plans are laid bare. Zadion, suddenly becoming more solemn in tone, whispers a brief prayer to his charm as it sways with his movements forward.
Sigmar, guide us.
まさか、不滅の嵐?
Tatsumaki grits her teeth in frustration. Not only are they revealed and the element of surprise lost, she now faces some of the most powerful warriors known to the realms. Even the storms themselves now bar her path to destiny. How would she overcome enemies that are essentially immortal? Her warband is tired from travel and injured from the previous encounters. Perhaps withdrawal would be the best option, but the call of fate draws her closer and she is paralyzed by indecision.
もういい。
Omine suddenly speaks up besides Tatsumaki,
振り返らず。
her blind eyes finding far more insight into Tatsumaki's thoughts than anyone else could. Her rusted kama rasps against a stone resting on the ground, indicating her preparedness for combat. In the surrounding trees, her followers echo the same with their blades, like the chirping of a flock of birds waiting on her orders. Knowing fully well that their lives may be forfeit, they let her know their dedication to her cause.
そうか。
Tatsumaki sighs with a soft smile.
攻撃の準備。
She cries to her warriors, and at once they dart forwards with blades blurring with speed.
探検とシールド進め。込みよ、宝物を追っかける。
In unison, the Linnaeide clan call back in reply, their war cries echoing in the silent woods. walks carefully, hammer in hand and his shield held high, ready for any forward assault. But from above, a torrent of slashing blades comes to bear down on him. Hira makes a raking attack with speeds that would strip flesh from bone. Sparks light up the darkened woods as talons cut deep upon the Sigmarite armor of the Liberator. Unprotected joints shed streams of blood as the delicate blades find them, making the Stormcast recoil in pain as he tries to pull his shield over himself. Wide gashes are left upon the bulwark shield as Hira moves in an almost hypnotic manner. Zadion calls out for Sigmar just as a cascade of light comes streaming in. Patreus could spot the distress of his companion and dove at the assailant with twin hammers. The wild Chaos Birdman parries and evades some of the attacks, but against heavy Sigmarite weapons, the damage took a heavy toll on him, putting him quickly on the defensive. The Prosecutor drifts menacingly while covering his wounded ally.
Think I've done more work than that dumb Griffhound yet?
He quickly quips to Zadion. The Liberator wants to laugh, but his painful breathing prevents him from doing so. The Shrike Talon was definitely outmatched by this new foe. Only able to drift on currents, he was no match for the maneuverability of the Prosecutor, someone that could fly as easy as they could breathe. While his allies drew closer, he needed to finish off the Liberator so that they could pin down the flying one. Spinning like a dervish, he dives towards the wounded Liberator once more, blades slashing across and through armor and sending the Stormcast to his knees. Hira sends his talons plunging for the gap between the man's gorget and faceplate for the killing blow, but before he could land it, a hammer slams into him, ruining one of his arms and sending a cloud of feathers to erupt. He mutters in an annoyed tone. There is no way he would be able to sustain combat in his current state, so the only option was to retreat. He hops backwards, but the Prosecutor pursues him, a downward slam snapping one of Hira's stilts and sending him sprawling to the ground. A thrown dart pierces the Prosecutor, stopping him in his tracks. Patreus makes a quick turning maneuver to find two of the Tory warriors rushing towards him and Zadion. A jagged spear thrusts upwards toward the winged warrior, a bold challenge from the tiny mortal. One of them shouts as they throw another dart to distract the agile Prosecutor. The Shrike Talon scrambled away as quickly as he could, broken physically and in his pride. Even more so as thunderclaps were followed by pained screams behind him.